Hello, hello, hello. It's coffee time again. That's where I go on the Daily Mail website and talk at the news. King Charles is in Germany. He's the first British monarch to address the Bundestag. Yes. There you go. We do have some pictures. We do have some pictures of him. There, see, it's he's going. It's the way I tell him. He joked with the MPs of the Bundestag about football and music, and the Dinner for One sketch that they often play. Apparently, there's an old black and white British comedy that Germans took to the heart called Dinner for One. They play it I think it's every New Year's Eve. Oh, breaking news! Notorious prisoner Charles Bronson, that's not his name now, his name's Charles Salvador, has lost his bid to be freed from jail. He's one of, I think he's the longest serving prisoner, isn't he? This is a picture of him a while ago. I don't know if he looks like that now. But yeah, he's, for what he was jailed for, was planning a robbery. He had his jail sentence extended because he's been a naughty boy inside, rioting, holding people kidnapping the boss of the prison. You know, the things you do. But he's a naughty boy and he's not allowed out. What else have we got? Meanwhile, more banking stress. Lloyds and NatWest, they're going to be shutting 80 extra branches this year. HSBC is also planning to close 114 branches across the UK in 2023, and they've actually got a list of them here, if I can get it on the screen. There's loads. There's loads of them. Yeah, I think what you need is like a banking hub. Yeah, you've got the Lloyds ones as well, and Halifax. My goodness, that'd be nothing. Oh, Barclays. Yeah, Barclays are closing. God blimey. What you need to do is every high street needs to have a banking hub, right? Which is one place where all the banks have one person there just dealing with business. A banking hub. That's it. That'd solve the problem. So yeah, no more banks because everybody uses online banking. They encouraged us to, didn't they? What else have we got? Still doing more tributes to Paul O'Grady, going into his background and his life. But it was revealed he actually died in bed next to his husband. So he had a good day. That's a good way of leaving. Meanwhile, court news. Let's jump to court news. This is a story of a restaurant boss, Abbas Sharif. Now, he took advantage of the various COVID loans. Do you remember 2020 when everything went a little bit bonkers and the government decided to close everything and then propped up business with a load of loans that anyone could apply for? And as I said to the missus then, this isn't going to end well, and it didn't. Father of 7, Abbas Sharif, illegally pocketed a small business grant and a local restrictions grant under the job retention scheme after fraudulently claiming he needed bailout money for his former restaurant in Manchester. So in total he stole £20,000 in COVID loans. He tried to apply for a third bailout, for £8,000 from Manchester City Council, but officials became suspicious. Right? But he'd already legitimately secured a fourth COVID grant worth £25,000 from Wigan Council relating to another business. I guess that's him coming out of court. There you go. He's like, so you got. He said he succumbed to temptation. Like it. He'd originally come here as an asylum seeker in 1992 following the Gulf War. But, he's not been an idle person. His defence barrister said he actually worked as a printer and then opened a restaurant, and he's been working very hard in this country to build a business, and it was a moment of temptation. But yeah, he's been punished. He's been punished, but not much. He's got is it just a curfew? Is that it? I mean, is that all he's got to do? What else is? There's got to be more. Oh, he was sentenced to 26 weeks imprisonment, suspended for 12 months, and he's since repaid £19,669 of the money. So he's trying to make good, and that was at Wigan's Magistrates Court there. Yeah, he was a former Kurdish refugee who fled Saddam Hussein. But yeah, because he admitted his charges and tried to make amends. There you go. Again, he said that he found he was going through trauma in his life. His marriage was collapsing, and the COVID caused his premises to close. And he said that was the mitigating circumstances. So there you go. He's got to wear a tag, I think, for that evening curfew. So there you go. Don't steal money. What else have we got? It's a bit of a slow one here today. Do you know, right, what B&Q stands for? Right? Now, I always thought it was something like bargain and quality. It isn't. It's the name of the founders, Richard Block and David Quayle. It's a short news day on on the Daily Mail website. Here they are together. There you go. That's it. We've learned something. Not a good thing, but we've learned something. Anyway, this is good news, everybody. I reckon that we could be getting an extra £100 a year penalty because the governments are pushing towards away from using gas in our boilers, and they want to use those heat pumps that, again, I don't know if you can have them in a flat like we've got. So yeah, extra £100 on your bill. Really? This is from Grant Shapps. But if you agree to have a wind turbine, you get a £350 reward. I want my wind turbine. Not going to happen. It's not going to happen, is it? Meanwhile, ministers have dropped plans to speed up the rise in the pension age to 68. They've been looking at France and what's going on in Paris. I went, no. Were they put up to 68? I did not realise that. Apparently almost a quarter of drivers say that they've driven a car with an out-of-date MOT, risking fines up to £2,500, because a new report shows that police very, very rarely catch offenders So there you go. We'll do what you want, really. Do what you want. There's really not much going on here, and the stories that are on are pretty miserable. Mind you, a study has said that melting Antarctic ice will slow down. Just muted the sound there so I didn't burst everyone's eardrums with that mega sneeze. Sorry about that. Come on, Darren, get back in your groove. Let me start that again. Melting ice around the Antarctica will spark a rapid slowdown of a major global deep ocean current by 2050. It could have devastating impacts on ocean health and the marine food web. It may also alter the world's climate for centuries and accelerate sea level rise. Yeah, this is Australian research. Oh God, we're doomed. We're doomed, yeah. Dr. Steve Rintoul, an oceanographer and expert on Southern Ocean at the Australian Government's Commonwealth and Scientific Industrial Research Organisation, said about the losses. He said we've got to slow down. More sea life could die out and the ocean will struggle to absorb and hold heat. And ice loss will speed up even more. Does it matter? Does anything matter? We've got that solar flare, that solar wind to deal with on Friday. Meanwhile, we've got an interesting court case coming up. Again, I don't know if you remember this. I think we did mention it. This is the case of Kashif Anwar. He's been accused of murdering his wife, Fazia Javid. Right? She was pregnant, and he's accused. Well, let's have a look. Here she is. He's accused of killing her. Right. By pushing her off Arthur's Seat in Edinburgh. I mean, look, mate, if you're gonna, that's a bit. You should have. They're a bit obvious. Yeah. So his case is being heard in Edinburgh at the moment. He also faces charge of behaving in a threatening and abusive way towards her at a hotel in the Scottish capital a day before her death. Yeah, the High Court in Edinburgh was told the cause of death of the 31-year-old was told, yeah, this cause, yeah, the being pushed off, yeah, and that of the unborn child. And yeah, he denies both charges against him. I mean, crikey. It's a pretty serious case. I'm not going to read the details of it because he was pretty mean and pretty mean to his wife before she fell off Arthur's Seat. But blimey, she wouldn't eat the mushrooms. Guess not. Meanwhile, you over 40? Well, Boots are starting to offer free 15-minute health MOTs for people over 40 in a bid to reduce pressure on the NHS. That's available in 1,000 stores in England, and the scheme's going to run until June. I wonder if they do the old, rectal digitalis examination. I mean, can you imagine, like, you're in Boots and they go, right, Bendo, what, in front of all the shoppers? That ain't going to be good, is it? I guess they're not going to. I guess they're not going to do that. What? Just blood tests, I imagine. Yeah. Here you go. Oh. They reckon that a UK meat processor that supplies leading supermarkets, schools and hospitals have been passing off huge quantities of potentially unsafe foreign meat as British. Yeah. The National Food Crime Unit, which is part of the Food Standards Agency, has begun a major investigation. I reckon consumers have been kept in the dark over this huge scandal. The details have emerged some 10 years after a crisis where horse meat was passed off as beef. Do you remember that? But yeah, the allegations were revealed in Farmers Weekly and are based on the testimony of workers employed by the company that has not been named, pending a possible prosecution. The firm has been accused by former staff regularly washing hams that were visibly off, mixing rotten pork with fresh products for further processing. Other products, such as ox tongue, were not heat treated properly, and meat was sometimes thawed out on the factory floor. That don't sound good. But yeah, the FSA's National Food Crime Agency unit is carrying out criminal investigation. It's like, so keep your eye on that. Not good, is it? Meanwhile, more food news. We're doing food news. I don't know, that's what the Daily Mail says. Did you know that a slice of bread can be as salty as a packet of crisps? Yeah. Again, salt is salt and sugar, very bad. It's in all the processed foods out there because it can fuel high blood pressure, strokes, and other illnesses. Action on salt. Never heard of them. So many brands and supermarkets are famed to make significant salt reductions in bread and other products. And they've got the saltiest bread. Here they go. I mean, I'm trying to think how much. Does anyone know how much salt you're supposed to have a day? You got to have some salt. Does it say? How much do you need a day? Yeah, adults should eat a maximum of 6 grams of salt per day. You can do that easily. You know, this is the thing. Be so careful. For every gram of salt cut from the diet, there'll be 6,000 fewer British deaths, I reckon. So everyone, cut down on your salt, and then you can live longer to be even more miserable. Yeah. What else have we got? Oh God, blimey! Where's all the fun stories? It's a bit of a miserable story. That's a miserable story. Sorry, guys. I'm going to do this one. Owen Wilson. Do you like Owen Wilson? He goes, wow. A lot, doesn't he? That's his thing. Well, he's a big Rolling Stones fan, right? And he was lucky enough to get a lifetime backstage pass to the Rolling Stones. Here he is going, wow. And he was thrilled. He was like, wow. Because he actually said, wow. He's a massive Rolling Stones fan. And he was talking about this on James Corden's talk show. And so he got the laminate pass and he went to the gig and he thought, I'm going to test it out. So he was going all these different places to see if he could get stopped, and no one was stopping him. And he found a really good vantage point at the side of the stage, and he could see Mick Jagger. And he's standing there, and suddenly Jagger comes sprinting towards him, and he's like, what am I going to do? He's running straight at me. And so yeah, he just kind of has to shuffle out the way, because it was part of the stage set where Jagger sprints through. So he doesn't think anything of it, and then goes back, gets a call from the Rolling Stones people, said, we need the pass back because Mr. Jagger doesn't like to be put off when the shows. So Owen Wilson had a lifetime Rolling Stones backstage pass for one show and then had to give it back. Wow. Indeed. So yeah, bit silly Billy, but at least he shared the story. Yeah, I reckon that thanks to the hole in the sun and that solar wind, again, one side effect of that is the Northern Lights. Yeah, the Aurora Borealis in this area at this time of day, localised to your kitchen. Simpsons reference. Chris Hammond of the Met Office Space Weather Operations Centre said minor solar storms are possible on Thursday and Friday night, which means aurora sightings could be possible in northern Scotland under clear skies. So yeah, you got more chance of seeing an aurora borealis like that. So there you go. There's always an upshot. Also, planes might fall out of the sky. Your watch might stop working. But yeah, it's known as an X-class solar flare was spotted leaving the sun this morning. Ooh, it sounds exciting, doesn't it? It sounds like science fiction. Right, what else have we got? Miserable story. Miserable story. Yeah, this was good. This was good. We're going to Tranada, right? And Avi Silverberg, he's a weightlifter, right? And what he decided to do, right, is he decided to register, right, as a woman at the Heroes Classic tournament in Lethbridge, Alberta. And he went up there and he bench pressed how many pounds? 84 kilos. 84 kilos plus he bench presses. Again, I don't know what that means because I don't do weights. Says, but yeah, it was a protest. It was a protest at the inclusion of men in female sports categories. And here he is. I mean, he looks like a woman to me. If he says he's a woman, then we've got to accept it because them's the rules. Yeah, the Canadian Powerlifting Union allows anybody who self-identifies as a woman to compete in the female category. And that's what he did as a form of protest. He got up there looking like that and did it. Good for him. And we need more of this. We need more of this just to show how ridiculous it is. Because when you throw logic and science out of the window, chaos ensues. So there you go. And yeah, there is a video of him actually doing the. Of course, I didn't want to click on it because there's a bloody advert. There's always an advert. Always an advert. But we can see him breaking the record. So we've got sports news. And this is only an unofficial record. I don't think it's registered, but here he is. What a fine figure of a woman. There he is. Go on, my son. My girl. It's hard to keep up these days, isn't it? Hey, and there you go. Broken. Another record broken. What a plucky young lady. What else have we got? Oh, this is a good one. It's free speech. Free speech, everyone. We love our free speech. This is a story of a woman in France. She's 50 years old. She's just named as Valerie. Here she is. And she is in a little bit of hot water. Why? She faces a criminal trial, right, after publicly insulting President Macron because she called him garbage on Facebook. And this is all about the pension reforms, which sees the French pension age raising from 62 to 64. Yeah, and she's been accused of publicly insulting the French president. And yeah, she's been arrested and faces a trial. 3 officers turned up on a doorstep on Friday and took her to the local police station, where she briefly locked up. She asked if there was a joke, and she was the first time she'd ever been arrested. So, but Valerie is linked to the Yellow Vest anti-Macron movement. She said, I'm an activist for social justice. They want to make an example of me. I'm not public enemy number 1. This is totally unfair. And if you see, what's been going on, I mean, look, everyone's having a good time. Let's not go to Paris. Let's all give it a miss. But yeah, be careful. Free speech, no such thing. Yeah, she'll be tried at the St Omer Criminal Court on June the 20th for insults conveyed by word, writing, images or means of electronic communication, and faces a fine equivalent to £10,000. There you go. So no, there is no freedom of speech in France. Meanwhile, this loops back to the story we talked about earlier about the COVID fraudster. The National Audit Office has announced figures relating to the various loans and frauds that are related to the COVID period. Yeah, the NAO has revealed that fraud losses rose to a total of 21 billion, right? 2 years after the COVID, the year of COVID happened. Yeah, of the 21 billion, over 7 billion was related to schemes introduced by ministers, with the HMRC expected to only recover 1.1 billion. Blimey, I mean, that's an awful lot of money. And yeah, the watchdog recommends that it's very unlikely that any of the money will ever be returned, and that's all taxpayer money. Yeah. NAO head Gareth Davies said, there's been a substantial increase in the level of fraud reporting in annual reports and accounts we audit. It creates a risk that people come to perceive that fraud and corruption across government is normal and tolerated. If not tackled, this could affect public confidence in the integrity of public services. Well, it was going to happen. As soon as they announced that scheme, I said to Mrs., I said, it's going to happen, wasn't it? Wasn't it? Yeah. Oh, I've got the animal story. I found the animal story. I could probably do that now, couldn't I? It's been a bit boring today. It's not been much fun. Who wants to see a record breaker? I've got a couple of record breakers here. Right, which one do you want first? Do you want the good one or the bad one first? We'll do the good one first. Right, and this is the story of Ruby Labuszewski. That's really her name, Ruby Labuszewski, and she's from Michigan in the US of A. Jonesville, that's where she's from, and she has got she's got a world record. Look, kids world record. And what does she do? She's got big feet. Yeah, her feet are over 10 inches in size. They're 10.5 inches feet, which makes her the world record holder for big feet. Unfortunately, she does get teased for it at school. And issues with her mum, who explained how she gets teased for her. Well, I mean, she must look like where she's wearing clown shoes with those. I mean, they've got big feet. She has to wear a size 11. So yeah. But her mum said, I wear size. Oh no, she doesn't wear size 11. Her mother wears size 11, and her dad wears size 13. So she was always going to be genetically predisposed to huge feet. There you go. So that's the good one. How about the worst one? So we go for the. Now again, the Guinness World Records have some interesting records to have, and this is Michael Diabio Prado from Praia Grande coast near Sao Paulo in Brazil, and he's got the world record for the most horn implants in his head. Yes, it's a body modification record, which he's just been given, and the 47-year-old said it's a dream come true after he won the Guinness World Record for the most subdermal horn implants in his head. And here he is receiving his certificate. Takes all sorts, doesn't it? And I mean, he's a good-looking chap. That's me demonetised. And here he is with his missus. They're a fine pair. That's it. That's the story. You can get awards for that now. And we'll end now, because I feel like this has been a terrible story. But we're going to have a nice story. This is from Wake County Animal Centre in North Carolina. Right? And the staff there realised that two of their doggies and a goat have become very good friends. Oh, yeah. He's an American bulldog, and I can't separate them. Oops, I can't separate the two. They've become such close friends. Yeah. The goat's called Cinnamon, and the American bulldog's called Felix. They've developed a close bond that they even share a pen together. Oh. And they've been rehomed together. Isn't that nice? What a nice story. There you go. Yeah, a small farm in the area replied. There you go. And they're going to be taking them on. That's the story. We'll have a look to see if there's anyone in the chat room after today. It's a bit rubbish today. I can only apologise. 8 people in, like I said. Paul in, he says, afternoon, how's it going? It's still going. Payne says, good afternoon, can't stop, got to do something else. Okay. Mary says we're doomed indeed. And runs in, he says hi. And Mary says, I don't get that. If they gave him a lifetime pass, why would they take it away? Seems strange, because he blocked Mick Jagger and they didn't like it. That's the thing, you mustn't get in the way of Mick Jagger. Graham says, do you still live gigs? No. Fretless bass or fretted? Well, this has got nothing to do with the news. You can have both. Why not have both? What a silly question. And on that, I'm out. Thank you for watching. Killing the channel one video at a time. That was the news. You know you got a drink and up.